Muito bem, já estamos aqui na tela de menu principal. Vamos aqui iniciar o jogo.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Tem que prestar atenção nessas legendas
Stanley
aqui.
worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Mas ele não ia pra casa, não?
Was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Olha, começou já. Bom, vamos explorar aqui. Não dá pra abrir, não dá pra abrir.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tá, mas o que parece...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Ao que parece que faz muito tempo que ninguém vem pra cá, isso sim. Tá, tem um computador ligado aqui, dá pra ler o que tá ali, não consigo ler. Mas eu desliguei o computador. 437... Quadrozinho ali, 422. Outro computador ligado. Tá. Não consigo, tudo trancado. Se nós tivesse um botão de zoom. Como é que esse jogo também não é tão novo, né? Eu tô acostumado com jogos mais recentes. Se bem que até Half-Life tinha botão de zoom, né? Então nem... esse argumento nem conta. Não.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tá. Ele fala que eu entrei aqui. Mas o jogo está meio me dando uma decisão. Entre aqui e aqui. Eu vou seguir o que ele está falando só pra seguir o rumo, entre aspas, normal do jogo, né? Vamos ver aqui. Não. Nada bem, nada.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Meeting room. Isso aqui é o prédio? Não, isso aqui é uma... Como se fosse uma folha de horários. Deixa o Chris sair do closet. Esconda alguém na... Como é que é? Esconda alguém. Papéis estão tão sinergizados. Meu inglês está terrível, galera. Quem moveu minha mesa? Por favor, mantenha os alvos no tópico de alguma coisa. Standard... Não eficiente. Amanhã complete... Não é nada... Por favor, não more charts. As 20 coisas que você mais adora, mais ama no seu chefe, é isso mesmo? Em inglês tá péssimo. Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ele tá me mandando para um caminho, só que o que acontece se eu for para outro caminho?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Tá. Vamos seguir o que ele tá falando.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Beleza, estamos subindo. Esse meu mouse tá terrível. Não tô conseguindo nem me mover direito. Não. Executive, Bertram, não. O mousezinho, hein? Pera aí, deixa eu tirar esse mousepad daqui. Eu acho que deu uma melhorada agora. Nada.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
2845.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
Randall,
Stanley
você que me
happened to
falou,
input
bicho.
the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Tá, onde? Quê? Ah, olha só. Caraca. Eu tô... Opa, já estamos entrando nos bastidores aqui da parada. Nada, tudo escuro, tudo escuro, tudo escuro. Interessante, vamos lá. Gravador, eita. Aí.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Eita, ficou tudo escuro. Tá bom. Não, nada.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control. Controle de mente. Tem uma seta aqui chamada Escape. Mas como eu disse, esse jogo aí parece que ele tem várias decisões a tomar. Mas nessa primeira jogatina, talvez eu faça outra, eu vou seguir as orientações do tal do narrador aqui, que eu tô curioso. Como é a primeira vez que eu jogo, né? Bora ver a história seguida pelo narrador falando.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Uau! Vamos lá, né? Não.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Não tem ninguém na tela. Só tem os computadores. Será que eu deixei perder alguma coisa ou não prestei atenção em alguma coisa aqui que ele falou? Tem o número de fire. Ligação no meio do vídeo, né? E eu só tenho meu celular pra gravar. Tem que deixar meu celular em modo avião agora.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
É, porque parar pra pensar, ele tava fazendo aquilo meio que...
No.
automático.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Tá, então ele tá falando que o Stanley, né, que é o meu personagem, vai destruir os controles de uma vez por todas e vai acabar destruindo toda a instalação. Estamos descobrindo um segredo aqui que a gente provavelmente, né, porque eu não tenho certeza, vai que não é, né, foi controlado a vida toda para ficar sentado apertando botões que a máquina ordenava porque tinha que fazer. Tá, mas como eu destruo isso aqui? Não. Porque lembra esse main de control de mente, lembra o Super Hot. Muito bom também esse Super Hot. Tá, mas e aí? Como é que eu destruo? Deixei aqui. Tá, mas tem uma coisa que não dá pra, né, pra explicar direito, porque até aqui, se fosse só lá embaixo não tem ninguém, até que tá de boa. Mas até aqui em cima não tem ninguém. O que tá acontecendo? 5. Tá, antes de apertar aquele botão vermelho, Mind Controls, esperando input. Tá esperando que alguma coisa se conecte. Conecte.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Ok, né? Vamos... Eu tô com uma vontade de fazer diferente do que ele tá falando, mas... apertei sem querer no meu touchpad do notebook.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Não, acho que tem alguma coisa errada.
His co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Pois é, essas questões aí que ele tá falando, que eu tô falando que não foi resolvida.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Oh.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Aguenta aí. Realmente, cadê os botões que estavam aqui? Sumiram? Eles foram destruídos? Preocupado disso aqui, você sabe o quê? Isso é só uma tela. Ah, não, ele saiu mesmo.
The cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
No load é curioso porque tá escrito o fim nunca é o fim. O fim nunca é o fim. Essas letrinhas aí. Ok? Acabou? Entendi nada. Tá.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Começou
Stanley
tudo de novo.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tá. Teoria do Marcolino aqui. Que nem no vídeo do... Que nem no vídeo da pré-história do videogame. Será? Se bem que esse jogo é antigo, né? Então, muita gente já deve saber tudo sobre ele. Mas eu não. Eu não sei de nada. Será que... Deixa eu ver aqui. Esperando input. Não estava assim da última vez. Tá, será que por mais que ele tenha saído, ele foi capturado e voltou pra lá? Não sei, ele dormiu, desmaiou e voltou e esqueceu tudo o que aconteceu? Porque é um controle de mente, não é?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bom, agora vamos começar a fazer diferente.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ok, fizemos o final que teoricamente é o final normal, né? Que é a gente seguindo todas as instruções. E agora vamos ao final rebelde, o final que a gente não segue o que ele diz.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Não, nada.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
O que ele quer dizer é que a gente tem mais coisa para se preocupar do que ficar parado na sala
But
aqui, né?
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Tá bom, ele abriu essa porta para eu voltar para lá. Mas, vamos reto aqui.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Lá ele disse que conta uma verdade, né, naquele final. Ele disse, não, eu estou mostrando pra você a verdade. A verdade é que você sempre foi controlado, a sua mente sempre foi controlada. Mas não quer dizer que o narrador pode ser gente boazinha, não.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust
Só
in someone else
testezinho, se eu cair aqui eu
The
vou.
fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the
pulou da
platform
plataforma.
and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ah, reiniciou. Já ficou bugada ali a agenda na tela.
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Peraí, ele falou uma coisa diferente. Antes ele não falava... Ah, Stanley só tem que chegar na sala de reunião e nunca mais vai ficar sozinho. Antes ele não falava isso. Esse nunca mais vai ficar sozinho. Pelo menos que eu me lembro, não. É que eu tô jogando há o quê? 20 minutos?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Tá muito preocupado em eu andar por certos lugares aqui na instalação. Perigo em qualquer lugar, em todo canto. Todo lugar aqui tem perigo. Aí o cara, o caceta, tem 24 horas no dia. 24 horas. Aí o anunciador, esqueci como é que chama, o carro-som, anunciando negócio de promoção de lojinha, vem passar agora, justo quando eu tô gravando, né? Parabéns, parabéns. Vou atrapalhar o áudio. Tá bom.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Red Door. Tá, isso aqui é uma coisa nova, então eu acho que dessa vez eu vou seguir o que ele tá falando. Não. Bora.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
Ele me teleportou.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Mas eu vou insistir na azul.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ele tirou o azul daqui e colocou aqui.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Ok, ele permitiu, ele tá puto.
You see?
Tá muito irritado.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Tá, pelo que eu entendi, eu acho que o narrador, ele muda o cenário em tempo real. Ele decide o que aparecer e o que não aparecer, entendeu? Tá bem... Bora seguir aqui. Bora ver o que acontece.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Vamos no... Eu tô adorando o jogo, mas só pra zoar o narrador, vamos no 3.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know?
Ele leu minha
A
mente.
level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings. Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
É, The Stanley Parable, World War... Caramba, Caraca! Tudo esse jogo... 21,3% dos jogadores pularam a intro, 3% entraram na porta azul. Quanto tempo você vai demorar para pegar a porta correta? Ele tá meio obrigando a ir por onde a história onde ele quer que a história vá. Ai, tá bom, bora lá. Tô curioso.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Insistirei... Não, bora no 4.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely
Caramba,
opportunity
muita coisa.
to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Whoa! Fazer corte nessa parte aqui, tá?
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas.
Acho que é a segunda opção, né?
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see.
Jogo de outra pessoa? Ele vai o quê? Abrir outro jogo dentro desse?
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Não é... Acredito que ele fez isso mesmo.
Desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley.
Mas eu não posso pular, não posso fazer nada. Claro que eu não vou jogar. Mas
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then...
Caraca, mano. Rompeu todas as minhas expectativas.
Yes, of course. And just to finish
Veja o pessoal falando bem, já pensei que era uma...
It's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
É muito doido isso aqui.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect?
Aí vai me prender pra dentro, quer ver? Eu não vou conseguir sair.
Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Caraca, ele realmente tá... Não tô acreditando que tá acontecendo aqui. Olha a música! Tem a música!
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Tá, tem que cair aqui. Mas pra falar a verdade, isso aqui tá rodando melhor que o próprio Minecraft.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Outro jogo? Eu não acredito que ele fez isso.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it.
É sério isso?
You
É sério?
trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out.
Não.
Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Caraca, ele abriu a porta antes da Gleidos abrir o portal. Não, realmente não tô acreditando nisso. Eu consigo pegar? Olha, eu consigo pegar. Igual na Engine Souls. Quem não sabe, isso aqui é Portal. Portal, o primeiro Portal. Um dos jogos mais geniais que já existiram.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
Caraca, mas é o Portal mesmo. Ele recriou dentro do jogo.
Genius.
Genial, é o que resume
I think
Portal.
that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough.
Ele vai fazer me
why
jogar
don't you
aqui e
get
morrer.
cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Não, já explodiu a cabeça aqui, a capacidade que esse jogo tem de surpreender. Eu vou ter que me jogar e vou morrer. Não tem outra. O elevador não vai descer. E a porta ali não vai abrir. É isso. Falou! Oh, eu não morri. Na verdade, falar em Portal, isso aqui tem muito de Portal. Porque Portal, a Gleidos, ela vai criando as salas em tempo real. Você acaba estando preso lá dentro sem saber que você é um sujeito de teste. Preso mesmo. Até que você morre, né? Só que você não morre, porque a nossa protagonista acaba... Não! Caramba! Tá, teoricamente o narrador foi embora, não quis mais saber da gente e a gente tá aqui largado. Ah, uma luz. Opa, câmeras. Então o narrador provavelmente ficava aqui. Como eu vou pra ali? Não. Oh! Tela preta.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
E começamos de novo, só que com mais uma diferença aqui. Só que eu não vou continuar nesse
All of his
vídeo.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Eu não vou
No
continuar nesse
matter how
vídeo.
hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Eu não vou continuar nesse vídeo, eu vou ver as próximas decisões, os próximos caminhos em outro vídeo, que esse aqui já tá bem longo, tem que dar uma picotada nele ainda, mas curti muito. Agora eu entendo porque as análises estão extremamente positivas na Steam, sabe, todas, e as recentes também estão muito positivas. Esse jogo surpreende muito, ele nem é novo, muito bom mesmo.